Who thought that assessment was quite interesting?
Yes.
Anybody taken a test like that before?
Not quite like that.
And I've taken a lot of tests because I kind of like tests, but I was like, what?
Well, all I have to say is this Claim Your Harvest has been amazing. I'm so impressed with you and Sunshine. When I saw this thing, I'm like, what other tricks do they have up their sleeve? You guys are amazing.
I don't even know yet, but if it goes the way it has been, my goodness, what do we have to look forward to, right?
Yes.
It has been one thing after another for sure. I don't know. All I can say is this is my plan, guys. We're going up, up, up till December 31st. There's no plateau. There's no going up and down. We're just going to keep making our way up. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Shauna. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
We were just talking about that interesting assessment.
What? What assessment are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, that assessment.
Those interesting questions. I said, I've taken lots of tests. I like tests, and that would definitely be probably the top of my list for interesting tests.
For sure, right? That's crazy. How can we find out what we found out by you ranking those silly things anyway? That's
right.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm still wondering the same thing. Well, I'm not.
How is it in Utah? How's the weather?
I mean, it's fall. It's definitely fall, but it's beautiful. It's a little chilly, but it's beautiful.
Well, I will be there in about a month or less.
It'll be colder then.
I know. Maybe I'm coming up for Judy's school, and I'll be there a couple days before that for around Young Living and stuff. But we'll be going up to the Zermatt, so it's always snow there, so that'll be nice.
The Zermatt, that's in Midway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a place in Midway, so we go up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's awesome up there.
It's beautiful when I've been there, so excited about that.
It's a little slice of heaven for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Look at all these smiling faces. These guys are all happy. They don't need any help with anything. They're all happy.
Did you think your test was going to make us not happy?
Sometimes it makes some people cry.
Well, it was quite interesting.
It'll only make you cry if you think of it as like those scores as a grade. Then you're like getting a C- in your self-esteem, but it's not a grade.
That's a good thing.
That, or if they see a lot of red, maybe then they'll cry too. But
Lisa, if you have your results, that it would be helpful. I don't want you to go running around digging around to try to find it, but if you can pull them up quickly, that'd be awesome.
About my small report here.
Only 40 something.
Yeah, me too.
That's all.
Me too. I probably need to put it in a notebook. I was like, I can't staple it, so it's just got a big clip on it.
Well, what'll be interesting is, let's see. So the event's in January. No, you guys will be good. I was going to say you might want to take it again before the event, but you should be good. It changes about every 3 to 6 months. So you should be good. That one should be good for you to bring.
All right.
Whatever on earth are you talking about, Brandon?
Oh, was I talking about? Oh, man. Dang it.
I'm afraid to ask.
Feel free for those that came on time to go ahead and share our special event news.
Oh, so sorry. That was.
No, that's great.
So what's the scoop, Brandon?
You want me to tell everybody now, or do you want to tell everybody?
No, we'll let you tell everybody, and then at the end, for anybody that might get on late, we'll go ahead and say it again. But if you want to share what's going on, we'll let you.
we are doing this is cool because we're doing our 2-day event, not just 1 day. We are doing our 2-day Infinite Potential event in January for you guys. So it will be, I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but you'll bring that crazy assessment with you to the event. We'll break it down. We'll show you some of the areas that are actually getting in your way, some of the stuff that's holding you back, literally the stuff that may get in the way of your happiness and joy and productivity. And then we'll give you tools at the event, hands-on tools at the event to break through those barriers and to break through those things. So you literally walk away from there completely changed into the new, better version of yourself. That's what we're doing.
Sweet.
So we're bringing a 2-day event to you guys. The Infinite.
Oklahoma City area, folks. Pretty awesome. We're very excited about this event.
It's it's literally in the self-development world, it's about a $997 event. So it's about a $1,000 event.
But we'll be sharing with you guys the prices later. It won't be that amount, but it will be an amazing weekend. For those of you guys, I know there's some of you on here that aren't in the Oklahoma City metro area. It will be such a great price that you might want to get a ticket to come to Oklahoma City in January.
Rachel, you can just stay for two weeks. She's coming 2 weeks before that to our annual retreat. We'll just keep you. You could get a job down here. We can find something for you.
She has a job. It's called Young Living.
Yeah. That's right. By January. Psh. All right. Good evening, Cindy, Caitlin, Charlene, Renee, Jody, Dylan, Katya, Terry, Teresa, Brenda, Allie, Trish, Lisa, Anita, Sue, and Rachel.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
We have a great group here.
Yeah.
I think we still might have some people coming, but we don't want to wait too long before we let Brandon share all his wonderful news with us.
Just let me know when you're ready and I'll mute everybody.
You guys, well, I'm ready when you are. You conduct it. I'm good. You tell me.
I think we were both muting. I'm muting you. Okay, you got the floor, girlfriend.
Me? I do?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay. So I am here to welcome Brandon Barber. In the Diamond chat, I was introduced to him through Andrea, who is a Diamond. She said, hey, take this cool assessment. My coach, Brandon Barber, is doing a Zoom call. You need to come and listen to what he has to say. And hey, anytime I can have the opportunity to learn more about myself and personal development, I am there. And it was free. And so I was like, hey, let's check this out. So I checked him out online, took the assessment, thought this is the most interesting assessment ever. Listened to a Zoom call and said, I need this guy to do this for this wonderful group, Claiming Your Harvest, because we want to share everything we can possibly share with you guys, especially when it comes to mindset. That's what these 5 months is about. So invited him, and he has so much to share with us. So he has been doing this. Is it 15 years, Brandon? Is that correct?
It's actually 18 years now.
18 years now. Okay. I had your bio up, but I don't see it right here.
No, I think the bio is it's a little old.
Okay, I was thinking it said 15 years. And then I actually did a personal coaching call with him. He went over what we're going over tonight even more in detail and shared some things that may be the areas of why I am stuck. So if you've ever felt stuck and wondering why, Brandon can maybe open our eyes to that, because that's what he's done for me and many others. But I will say what really Andrea had said was, that interested her to learn more about Brandon was finding joy in the journey. And that has been a prayer request of mine for the year 2018. So when I heard her say that and looked on his site, I was like, that's exactly what we need, joy in the journey. So I'm going to let Brandon take it over.
So thanks, Shauna. Thanks, Sunshine. I appreciate you guys letting me or trusting me to speak to everybody, your team. You don't know really for sure what I'm going to say. So I know it takes a lot of trust to allow me to come in and do that. So I appreciate it. We've been working with about 500,000 people over the last 18 years in the direct sales and network marketing world, not to help them do their or to teach them network marketing skills. How many of you need more network marketing skills? Well, you're in the wrong place today because I'm not here to give them to you. I'm just not. I don't teach the mechanics of your business. Everything I talk about is mindset. I see a lot of people in this realm of the world not getting to that next level that they want to get to, not making the money they want to make, not achieving all that they want to achieve, and not finding a lot of joy in the process. And that's why I love working with network marketers and direct salespeople, because listen, guys, if your desire is just to create massive success, I'm telling you, once you get to success and once you reach certain levels, if you don't have fulfillment, it's not worth any of it. So just becoming successful in something, if you're not fulfilled, I think that's the ultimate failure. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So what we've helped 500,000 people with a lot of success, help them get to their next level in their business, help them make more money, help them achieve more in their lives. But the thing I'm the most proud of is helping people create more fulfillment in what they do. Shauna mentioned joy in the journey, and I think that's such a massive piece. I see so many people struggling, not finding joy in their journey, not really finding passion, and just absolutely seizing every moment of every day and rip it open and find just joy in it. And I think it doesn't have to be that way. So we've helped a ton of people, 500,000 people, find more passion in what they do, more joy in the day-to-day life, more joy in the process. How many of you get taught on a day-to-day basis how to do the process, or life is more fixated on outcome and results? It's like, just get here. I need to get here. I need to arrive here. When I get here, then everything's going to finally be okay. And I know the truth of that. The truth is that working over 18 years with people and having success in our company, we're a multi-million-dollar coaching company. And I know success in our company, if we don't have massive fulfillment, trust me, getting just to a certain level, whether it's a certain amount of money or a certain level in your success, it's not enough. It never is. You end up arriving somewhere, and there's a couple of thought processes. Is that it? Number one. And number two, if that's not it, where do I got to go next? But I know if you create more fulfillment, more joy, more excitement in what you do day to day, it changes things. I also know there's some things subconsciously that hold us back. I know that most of somebody's business, in fact, anywhere from 80 to 90% is mindset. 10 to 20% is mechanics, 80 to 90 is mindset, which means what holds you back or slows you down is mindset. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, not because there's something wrong with you, but because your brain gets in the way of you doing it. How many of you recognize that your brain is sometimes getting in the way of making things happen? Anybody? Yes, yes. Okay, I'm not alone. So listen, your brain's got one major function above all else. And I didn't realize this until this was about 20 years ago. And it was massive amounts of research that I did on brain. See, in my late 20s, I struggled with immense anxiety. In fact, for 3 years, I literally had a panic attack a day for 3 years. And that led to some pretty deep, dark depression. In fact, I became agoraphobic and I couldn't even leave my house. And it made me just go into this massive research and understanding how the brain works. So I spent years and years and years figuring out what really makes us tick. And I read thousands of books, thousands of hours of workshops and webinars and events, and just dug into really understanding the brain, and come to find out the brain isn't here to make us happy. It's not designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you alive. And because of that, it sometimes gives you some bad advice. How many of you feel like at times you get some bad advice? Yes, we all do. So you took an assessment, and believe it or not, how many of you, did anybody not take the assessment? I'm curious. Would anybody dare raise their hand if I asked them right now? They're like, okay, so if you didn't take the assessment, you can at any time. But if you took it, you're probably like, what is this crazy thing, right? I just ranked a bunch of statements, and with this ring I thee wed and a good meal and like blowing up an airliner. What is this crazy stuff? How many of you took that assessment and went, well, the stuff at the top I can put and the stuff at the bottom, but all the stuff in the middle, I just threw it wherever, right? Like, how many of you thought, well, is there another way to put this stuff? Like, everybody would rank it like I would rank it, right? Believe it or not, there's 6.4 quadrillion ways that you can take this assessment. And based on a science, the science of axiology, we know how you rank those things gives us an idea, or gives us a spot on idea about how you think, how you're thinking at a core level, what's causing you to do what you do, what's causing you to not do what you do. It's all based on what your brain is telling you and what your brain is telling you to not do. And that assessment pinpointed it based on this thing called the science of axiology. Now, each one of these, there are 6 primary areas. Some of you printed off like the 40-something pages, and that's okay. You can go into detail and it'll go into all the specifics of that, but some of you just printed off the summary. How many of you just did the summary? How many of you did both? How many of you have it in a binder as well? Okay, so there might be some perfectionism that's going on out there, but that could be what's getting you stuck along the way. But this assessment, doesn't matter if you have the long version or the short version, it literally does tell us how you're thinking at a core level. And I'm not going to go into all the details of it and tell you the mathematics of it, and there's I to the I and E to the sub I and all the mathematics about it. I'm just going to tell you the nuts and bolts of it. How many of you are okay with that? Okay. So if you look at this assessment, there are 6 primary areas. And the areas that we measured in your subconscious are connection, how you connect with people, physical creation, thoughts about doing, disciplined thinking, thoughts about your ideas. And then we get into your internal world, and we have mental creation, thoughts about your vision, joy in the journey, thoughts about your process, and then self-esteem. So 6 primary areas. And below each one of those is a score. Now, this is not a grade. As I said earlier, some of you went, great, I'm getting a 66. I'm getting a D- in my life right now. It's not a grade. I promise you it's not a grade. It just tells us overall how balanced that thought process is. So the score is not as important as the bars. So some bars go to the left, some go to the right. When bars go outside of that shaded area, that's considered bad advice. When they're inside the shaded area and they're green, it's considered good advice. So if you have green in your assessment, it's good. A little bit of yellow means be careful, there's some bad advice your brain's giving you. The orange stuff, there's even more bad advice. And then when it's red, it goes all the way out left and right. That's the stuff that your brain is insisting that you follow bad advice. Now, I'm curious, can they unmute themselves, Sunshine? So I would love for you guys to tell me, why do you think your brain would insist that you follow bad advice? Anybody have any thoughts about that? Why would your brain insist that you have bad advice? That seems a little crazy.
Protection.
Protection. That's a good answer. Yep.
Things we were taught as children.
Things you were taught as children, so it's things that you're doing over and over again, just patterns that you're running, habits.
Fear.
Fear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brandon, I have a question. So
Yeah.
when you say bad advice, who makes the decision whether something is good advice or bad advice?
That's a good question. Robert Hartman. Robert Hartman, the man that created this assessment, said, here's how we're gonna put values into mathematics. So here's the potential implications of what's good and bad advice. So when we get into this, I'll show you like the bars that go out to the right and the left. What I'll do is I'll share with you implications. So rather than say it's bad advice, because it might be helping you in some ways, I'll share with you the implications. So rather than look at it as bad advice, there's potential danger in the thought process, and I'll share with you what that is. And then it will be more concrete for you to understand. But that's a good question. Anybody else want to share why their brains would give them, or where there might be bad advice in their lives and why it might show up as bad advice?
The way we were programmed when we were little?
Maybe, yeah. Just something that you picked up along the way and said, here's how I'm going to think about this. Yeah.
Or things that have happened in our life have created us to feel we need to be that way.
Yeah.
I know my life experiences, and I'm sure everybody else is probably the same way, have created some of the ideas I have in my head.
Yeah. Now, this is what's important to know. This assessment did not pinpoint who you are as a person. In other words, we don't know anything. I don't have any idea what your personality is like. This is not a personality test. This is simply telling us how your brain is telling you to think. So it's not in any way, shape, or form your personality. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of where where some of these areas show up. So I'm curious, how many of you, let's find this out. What motivates you guys and guides you to take action on a day-to-day basis? What gets you to go move and take action in your Young Living business, especially if you're not that excited about doing it or you've had a tough day? Maybe you've had a tough day at work and you're like, I'm going to go talk to people about my business. What motivates you to go do that?
For me, I feel like it's the responsibility.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. Responsibility. What else?
Mine is for hopes of fun.
Hopes of fun.
I want to have fun. Yeah.
What else? What really motivates you guys?
Mine is when I find somebody that I feel like I can help.
Okay, somebody you can help.
Mine is to get out of the situation I'm in into something else better.
Okay, so you don't want to be working your 9 to 5 anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just get out of my job.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What else? What really motivates you? Oh, sorry, did somebody say something?
For me, it's helping others and freedom of everything.
Freedom or helping others. Okay.
No. Freedom.
What if I told-
Freedom. I love helping others, but freedom of time, money, travel, everything, and to help people in the way I want to help them.
So I'm curious, how many of you would really love to help a lot more people? And how many of you would like to make a lot more money doing that? So what could possibly get in the way of that?
Ourselves.
Let's take a look. So do me a favor, in your assessment, go to the mental creation section. Let me have you go there first. So if you have the long version, that's like page 20 something. If you have the short version, it's easier to get to. It's like page 5, right? It says mental creation at the top. Oh, it's page 6. So if you get to the long version and you get there, somebody else, yell out the page number.
24.
Cool. Page 6 and page 24. Mental creation. So what if I told you that all of these things that you guys told me really get summed up in these top 3 bars? These top 3 bars tell us what really motivates you on a day-to-day basis. How many of you have this top bar off to the left? But I'll give you guys just a few more minutes to get there.
Way.
Mine
Well,
is
you're
to the
trying to
left.
get there faster.
Okay,
Mine is
you said
all
mental
the way to the
creation.
left.
Yeah, mental creation. Sorry, I get you there just a little bit. I'll give you just a few more minutes to get there. Mental creation, page 24 and 6. 6 in the summary and 24 in the long version. Okay. So top bar off to the left. How many of you have it off to the left? Raise your hand. How many of you are still not there? You're looking for it. I can see your eyes going all over, looking at trying to find it on your screen. If you don't have your assessment pulled up, just give you like a few more minutes and you can do it. And you can pull it up and then we'll go. If you can't find it and you're looking for our email that we sent you, I would tell you just listen and you can pull up your assessment later. But if the top bar is off to the left, it means you're being motivated out of obligation. So in other words, I have to. Now, how many of you have the second bar off to the right? That one's motivated out of perfection. So it's meaning you're needing you to be perfect. And how many of you have that third bar off to the right? 95% of you have that third bar off to the right. I know, I looked at your assessments. And that third bar off to the right is saying you're motivated out of fear. So all of these things that you told me about your motivation, if one of those bars is off, it's going to really mess with how you're motivated. And let me show you why. So do me a favor, draw a circle about the size of a bottom of a water bottle on a piece of paper. Just draw a circle. So the circle literally just looks like that. You don't have to grab a water bottle and draw a circle, although if your second bar is off to the right, you probably might do that. Because you're motivated out of perfection, right? So at 12 o'clock on the outside of this circle, I want you to write the words obligation, perfection, and fear. Have to, must, should, need to, ought to, supposed to, got to. Those are the words that usually get used. How many of you have to work your business? How many of you have to go to work? How many of you have to pay the bills? How many of you should work your business? How many of you are supposed to? You need to, I ought to, I'm supposed to. So here's what happens. At 2 o'clock, I want you to write the word fatigue or tired. If you have to work your business, if you should, you must, you need to, you ought to, you're going to get tired. How many of you have kids? And you've seen your kids, they have lots of energy, and then the minute you tell them they have to do something, their energy is like gone. Zonk, right? I remember a few weeks ago, my youngest was playing Nerf tag with his friends, right? And he did this big jump off the back of the couch and this flip and this roll. And he was like, I was like, my goodness, that's a lot of energy. And then my wife came down the stairs and she said, all right, guys, we got to leave. You have to go get your rooms cleaned. And he laid on his back and he went, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel well. And I'm like, wait a second. What just happened? A minute ago, you had all this energy. Now, all of a sudden, you're drained. So it creates fatigue. You're going to get tired. And then if you get tired at 4 o'clock on that little wheel, I want you to write rebel. When you get tired, you're going to rebel. How many of you rebel against the very things you tell yourself to do. So do me a favor in the assessment, keep this page out, but then go back a few pages to disciplined thinking. Disciplined thinking is just, it's on page 4 or 5 of the short version. So it's going to be on like 18 or 17, somewhere in there of the long one. It says disciplined thinking.
Page 16.
Page 16, thank you. And look at the top bar. How many of you have the top bar off to the left? Look around the chat room. Yeah, 80% of you on this call have that top bar off left. 70% of you go all the way to the left. And here's what this bar says. Don't control me. Don't tell me what to do. Now, you might go, in fact, this is a weird bar because some of you have even said this before. I just wish somebody would tell me what to do. So then somebody tells you what to do and you don't do it. How many of you have done that? That's crazy, right? It's because this bar doesn't want to be controlled. It includes from yourself. It rebels against yourself. We call it the rebel against the cause. So I'll give you an example. My cause might be to get to my ideal weight. But I walk by a Starbucks coffee and I look in the casings in the Starbucks coffee, and what's in those casings? Muffins and scones and cookies, and my brain says you can't eat that. Or the cause is to get to my ideal weight, so my cause says you can't eat that. What does this thought process say? Oh yeah? Watch me. In fact, I'll have one of each if I really want. Don't tell me what I can and can't eat. So I rebel against my own cause. Yeah, somebody said, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. I'll do what I want. So think about it when you tell yourself, from now on, I'm going to call this many people, or I'm going to do this much, or I'm going to schedule myself. Your brain goes, or this part of your brain says, I don't want to be controlled and restricted. I want to work when I feel like it. I want to work when I'm inspired. Yeah, I hear this all the time. People say, I just want to work my business organically. In other words, I want to work when I'm inspired or when I feel like it. And there's going to be a lot of times you don't feel like it, right? Especially if you have to, must, and should. This rebel will show up more than any other time because it doesn't want to be controlled and restricted. And if you have to do things, if you must, if you should, your brain says, I'm tired and I don't want to do it. I'm going to rebel against it. So we call it the rebel against the cause. Your cause might be making more money, going to that next level, whatever that is, and your brain says, I'm going to rebel against it. Isn't that crazy? In fact, how many of you get, you feel like you have a lot of distractions or interruptions on a day-to-day basis? The average person gets literally 5 distractions or interruptions a day. And those total about 5 minutes, each distraction. Studies show that every time we're distracted, about 80% of the times we're distracted, those times have little or no value to them. That means 3 hours of your day is wasted by distractions and interruptions. I read another study the other day that said we check our phones 120 times a day. If you check your phone 120 times a day and that has 80% of those times have little or no value, think about how much time is wasted on a day-to-day basis. And you might be welcoming those things so you don't have to do the things you tell yourself to do. Isn't that crazy? Welcoming interruptions and distractions. So this part of your brain rebels against the very things that are going to help you be successful. Not because you're broken, not because there's something wrong with you, not because you're lazy. Because your brain, because bad habits, plain and simple, have more traction than good intentions. That's it. So back to our cycle, you'll rebel against these things. Then at 6 o'clock, I want you to write the word procrastinate or avoid, whichever word you think feels better to you. Procrastinate or avoid. Creative avoidance is always a little bit more fun to use. Sunshine, you like fun words, so you can use avoidance, creative avoidance. So we avoid or we procrastinate. Now you tell me, when you procrastinate or avoid doing something, what's the emotion that always shows up? Almost always.
Not good enough or worthlessness.
Okay, maybe. What else?
Guilt.
Yeah. You feel guilty, right? Because you want to be a person of your word. You want to be authentic and real and true to you. And it's like, you don't want to be a fraud. So you're like, oh, I feel guilty. So at 8 o'clock, write the word guilt. So how do you deal with guilt? Because that's a heavy emotion. And it's like, I feel guilty. I feel guilty. So you'd think the guilt would cause you to go back and take action. But instead, what does your brain cleverly do around guilt? I didn't
Go get some comfort food.
What did you say?
And go get some comfort food.
Maybe that's exactly what happens. Go get some comfort food or whatever your vice is. Netflix and wine, I don't know, whatever that is, right? But what does it say to deal with that, to really handle it? That's actually pretty good. It might do that. But I know what it really does is inside it says, I'll just do it when?
Tomorrow.
So at 10 o'clock, write the word recommit. And as far as motivation goes, that's how most of society, that's how most of your business could get run. I feel obligated. I have to, I must, I should, I need to, I'm supposed to. So it makes me tired. Then when I get tired, I rebel. And then I decide I want to stop or procrastinate or give up or avoid. But then I feel guilty, so I recommit and do it all over again. How many of you have been in this cycle in your business for days? How many have been in this cycle for weeks? How about months?
Months.
How about years? Isn't that crazy?
I do it months.
Yeah, that's brain. That's brain motivating you in the wrong way. There's another motivator. And the motivator that absolutely is a game changer is doing things because you choose to. So do this. Watch this. When you have choice, at 12 o'clock, write the word choice. I learned about choice through, it was a parenting training that I went to early on when I have 4 boys. So I had to learn how to figure out how to be the perfect parent right away, because I have that second bar all the way to the right. So I had to figure out how to be a perfect parent quickly. So I had to read all the parenting books and do all the parenting stuff to figure out how to be the perfect parent. How many of you have done that? You walk down that path. And come to find out, you're still not a perfect parent even when you read all that stuff, right? Oh my gosh, how do we ever figure this out? So it taught all about choice and the power of giving your kids a choice. And I'm like, come on, really? Like, is choice that big a deal? At the time, I remember we'd go to this pool, this public pool. And in fact, anybody seen the movie Sandlot? Anybody seen that movie? Sandlot? You know the pool there that they go to in that movie? That's actually a pool in our neighborhoods. That was filmed in Salt Lake City in Utah. That's actually in our neighborhood. And it's a pool that we'd all go to. You know, everybody around kind of calls it their own pool. It's really it's not like it's a city pool or anything. Although it was run by the city, I think. But it was just the way it was set up, it was very different. We'd go to this pool as a family, and all the neighbors would go to this pool. Getting my kids to leave this pool was virtually impossible. So I'd look down and I'd be like, we've been here a long time. It's about time to go. So then you guys know the drill when you have little kids. I'd go around to each one of the kids and be like, it's time to go. But here's what would happen. I'd have one of the kids that would go off in the deep end and like hide just above the water so you couldn't see his face, and he's like the Navy SEAL diver or whatever. I couldn't find him. I had another kid get up and throw a fit, right? So cry and whine. And then I had another kid, the lawyer in the family, get up and tell me why it's not a good reason to leave. In fact, he'd have such a good argument that I'd start to wonder if, yeah, it's not a good idea to leave. Needless to say, I was so sick and tired of going to the pool. I didn't even want to go because getting my kids to leave and it was impossible. So this book told me to use choice and to give my kids a choice. So the next time we were at the pool, I'm looking at the clock and it's about ready to go. It's about ready, time to go. So I go to each one of my kids and I say, guys, would you like to leave now or in 15 minutes? How many of you have used this? Right? And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. Would you like to leave now or in 15 minutes? They all say 15 minutes. So it's like 15 minutes are up and I'm like, here we go. Let's test it out. So I go to each one of them and say, guys, it's 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. They all get out of the pool, get dried off, get dressed, and are ready to go. I'm like, shut up. What? Now, this doesn't work 100% of the time. You guys know it. But for the most part, it works pretty good. Even if I can get 3 of the kids out of the 4 to function at that level. So I learned a long time ago that choice is a pretty powerful thing. My kids are all a lot bigger now. My youngest is 11. My oldest is 25. So it's funny to think about my oldest back in the day throwing a fit when he would go to the pool. But let's just say choice works. Well, it works for us as adults too. I want to, I get to, I choose to. At 12 o'clock, write the word choice and watch what happens to this cycle when you choose to do something. At 2 o'clock, instead of feeling this feeling of fatigue, you're energized, right? Energized. Think about it. The last time you went to your favorite restaurant, was it like, oh, I got to go to my favorite restaurant. Oh, man. Or did you have a lot of energy all of a sudden? Or doing something you want to do? How many of you can function really well on 5 or 6 hours of sleep when you're on vacation? And you come home and if it's not a full 8, you cannot function. You're on vacation. You want to, you get to, you choose to do all that, right? You can run off of little bits of energy when you choose to do something. And instead of rebelling, you embrace. So write the word embrace. And then at 6 o'clock, instead of avoiding, you just take action. You just do it. And what do you think happens to guilt? The opposite of guilt. Somebody said it earlier. It's what I want. I want money and time, freedom. Instead of guilt, you're free of guilt, which is the freedom I know is the most powerful. It's even more powerful than time and money freedom. And at 10 o'clock, you have no reason, you're already committed. The power of choice. Is up there. It's probably all 4 of my kids on playing Fortnite at the same time right now. Actually, one of them doesn't live here, but the other 3 do. How many of you love the game Fortnite? Isn't it horrible? Like, what is that thing? They talk about get to, want to, and choose to, the difference between Fortnite and homework, right?
What was 10 o'clock? We missed that part.
Oh, sorry. 10 o'clock was commit. You're just committed. You don't have to recommit. You're already committed. So the power of choice. I never saw this in full effect more than I took my wife loves to shop. Anybody love to shop? Okay. My wife loves to shop. And she likes to go to Chicago and New York and LA specifically. She likes to go to Milan and places like that too. But in the States where we go quick, right? It's like shop, let's go quick. So one year for her birthday, I give her a trip to Los Angeles to go shopping. And she's always trying to get me to go with her and do this back alley shopping, where the backs of the stores sell all these knockoffs. Anyways, she's always trying to get me to go with her. And so one year for her birthday, I'm going to take her shopping. So we get to the hotel, we get to LA Live, and it's a beautiful hotel, great hotel, and she gets sick And I don't know if it's something she's eaten or it's like a 24-hour bug or what, but she gets immediately, she's sick. We're at the hotel and it's like bathroom sick. And I can hear her being sick in the bathroom. And all night long, she's in the bathroom sick. And I'm feeling really bad. I got her this birthday present to go shopping. And the next day, we're not going to be able to go shopping. She's sick. So I can hear her being sick all night. And then it's like 8:30 in the morning and I can hear her being sick in the bathroom. And I'm just getting up. And she comes out of the bathroom dressed to go somewhere. So I'm thinking we're going to the Instacare, right? Got to be going to the hospital or something. And she said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not." And she goes, "Well, let's go." And I go, "Where are we going?" And she said, "Well, shopping." And I said, "Wait, you've been sick all night." She goes, "Oh yeah, I know. And yet we're still going shopping." She goes, "Oh yeah, we're going shopping." I watched this woman stop and throw up in garbage cans throughout the day and continue to shop. Now you tell me, was she doing things out of have to, must, and should, or want to, get to, and choose to? That's the power of choice. Because what's interesting is it must have been a 24-hour thing or food poisoning, because she felt better the next day. By the end of the day, Sunday, she was fine. By Monday morning, she's totally good, but she called in sick to work. Have to, must, should. So what if you changed your motivation and you chose to? You chose to do your business. Let's look at your Young Living business right now. What if you made a choice to do that business? Now you might go, how do I do that? So you do that by doing three things. So draw a triangle. I know you're like, what is all this? I'm drawing circles and triangles. Draw a triangle, and inside the triangle, I want you to write the word meaning. The meaning of something. So how do we make things a choice when they're a have to? You change the meaning. That's all you got to do. Now, how do you change the meaning of something that you felt like you've had to do for how long? There are three things that change the meaning of something. So at the bottom of that triangle, I want you to write the word language. Your language impacts tremendous amounts of stuff. How many of you have ever been starving? You've said, I'm starving. You're not really starving, but you say I'm starving, and then what happens when you go to eat some food? You eat too much. How many of you have ever been stabbed in the back? Now, not really, but you've said the words, I've been stabbed in the back. How many of you ever had a headache, and the headache was so bad, you said, it's killing me. My head is killing me. Now, it's really not killing you, but that language impacts how your headache feels. So when you have to, must, should, need to, ought to, supposed to, that's when that stuff's going to get triggered. That's when the rebel's going to get triggered inside of you. So watch your language. Now I don't want you to just go, yay, because if I look at a Starbucks coffee and I go, yay, I get to eat carrots, my brain goes, listen, I'm not that stupid, right? I'm not going to fall for that. Yeah, I get to make phone calls today. Yeah, I get to go talk to bunches of people. Oh, I'm so happy to do it. Your brain's going to go, come on. But are you ready for this? I want to because. Why do you want to? Why would you want to? I want to go work my business today because why? And you got to dig deep. I want to change lives. I want time and money freedom. See, these things that you guys all told me. I want hopes of fun. I want to because of this. And you have to dig deep into this. But changing your language around this area will change things dramatically. I want to, I get to, I choose to, but because why? Now, the second thing. So on one of those other lines of the triangle, write the word physiology. Your physiology will impact things dramatically. You guys know the power of physiology. right? Do this. Everybody hunch down and lean over. And I want you to have a big frown on your face. Put a big frown on your face. Now, while you're hunched over with a big frown on your face, I want you to feel happy. Now, what happened? You had to change your physiology in order to feel happy, right? So do this. Sit up really tall, and put a big cheesy grin on your face, like the ones where your eyes are actually squinted. And I want you with the big happy look on your face, I want you to feel really bad. Come on. It's pretty hard to do. Your physiology impacts everything. So what are you doing around that activity? What's your body like? How are you holding your body? At the Infinite Potential event, we're going to teach you this thing called archetypes. And I'm telling you guys, it's a game changer. You literally can tap into this place in a physical place, in a physical state, and change your physiology like that, and your mood will change. Just by moving your body a certain way. Some of you know this. How many of you have ever done tapping? Right? Any kind of tapping, that impacts your physiology, right? Especially if you do it right here, because it impacts your lymphatic system. Or how many of you have ever jumped on a little rebounder or a trampoline? Right? Again, impacting your lymphatic system, and voila, your body changes. You feel differently. So physiology is huge. We don't think to do this when we have to, must, and should. But if you go to do some of your activities on a day-to-day basis and you move your body a different way, things change. Now, the third thing is focus. What are you focused on? Are you focused on how many people aren't going to be home? Are you focused on the fact that somebody might reject you? Are you focused on not having the right words to use? Are you focused on somebody's life you might change? Are you focused on one step closer to building your business? Are you focused on, where are you focused in that moment? So if you can literally look at these three areas the next time you have to, must, and should, and sometimes it's just requiring changing one of them. All of a sudden you can turn have tos into get tos, want tos, and choose tos. If my kids can choose to and be excited about leaving a pool in the middle of the summer when they're 6 years old, you can change how you feel about making phone calls or meeting new people or talking to people about these products. This stuff's the bomb. Oh my gosh, I've worked with a lot of companies, guys, and I got to tell you, not only is your company legit, but the products are so cool. My family and I are having a ball with using these oils. Like, it's awesome. It really is. Like, I don't know how I ever survived without frankincense. It's the coolest thing ever. If you're not out talking to people about this stuff on a day-to-day basis, that's about you. You're holding back this incredible process and incredible product. And you have something legit. You're not selling crazy water. You're not selling freaky, all sorts of products that don't work. You're not selling, you guys have legitimate, powerful, really cool tools. That's what's fun about working with you, is that I know the power of these products because I've used them. I've used a lot of products over the years too. You guys are legit. It's the real thing. It's really cool. So listen, all we did today is I broke down one part of your assessment. And then I showed you how that might be impacting you. And you saw some of the areas that might be impacting you. And you went, yeah, it feels like a have to, must, and should. And then I gave you a tool to think differently about it. That's all we did. So for example, we changed the way your subconscious can view something. That's all we did. Let me give you an example of changing your subconscious. So everybody do me a favor, pick up your right foot. Pick up your right foot and turn it in a clockwise motion. That's to the right. And at the same time, pick your right hand up and draw the number 6. So what happened? Your foot went in the opposite direction. Some of you are still trying it. That's good. I like the tenacity. Or you just started doing circles, right? Or some of you did the windshield wiper thing. I saw that. So watch. Your subconscious is getting in the way of that. I'm going to show you that your subconscious is getting in the way. And now I'm going to give you the tool to have your subconscious do it differently. So you ready? Pick up your right foot, same clockwise motion. Pick your right hand up, same right hand, only this time draw the 6 from the inside out. Now, if you still can't do it, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But most of you got it. You're just doing this. Circle and this. So I showed you how something your subconscious couldn't do, and then we just showed you some way to do it differently, and voila, you did it. Now, who cares about drawing a circle or drawing the number 6? But doing things because you want to, get to, and choose to could be a game changer. What if for the last year you couldn't wait to go work this business? You couldn't wait to go do the activities day in and day out. You wanted to. You chose to. There wasn't a have to, must, and should, and the rebel never showed up. Where would your business be today? Where would your financial situation be? How many more people, how many more of their lives would you have impacted? So what we're going to do at this Infinite Potential event is just that. We're going to break down the rest of your assessment and show you the areas that are holding you back. I'll give you tools, hands-on tools to see what it is and how it's getting you stuck, and then show you some simple little things to think differently, to draw the 6 differently, so that you can start approaching life and your business differently. And this is all of life, right? This is relationships with people. How many of you have a chemical romance with your significant other? I mean, a chemical, it's like the first day you met. But what would it be like if it were? What if your subconscious is getting in the way of that? Or how many of you want to be a better parent and your relationships are you're struggling a little bit with some of your kids, especially if you have a teenager? How many of you have teenagers? That can get interesting at times, can it not? Especially when there's 3 at once in the house. But some of you may want to have better relationships with your kids. Again, subconscious may be getting in the way of that happening. Running your business, finding joy in the journey, whatever that is for you, there's something that might be getting in the way. And at this event, we're going to break it down, show you just hands-on like we did today, and then give you a tool for thinking differently in literally about 25 different areas in your life, including one of the areas that's causing more stress than anything else in the world. So according to the Mayo Clinic, what's the leading cause of cancer today? Stress. Anybody know, according to the Mayo Clinic, what the leading cause of stress is? It's not finances. I thought so too, right? I thought there's got to be a financial tie to that, but it's not. We stress about finances, but it's really not the source of the problem. Anybody else have any ideas?
In the chat, someone put work and someone put life.
Neither one of those is it. It's your brain. It's your brain thinking in black and white. The Mayo Clinic says polarized or black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is literally the source of what's getting in your way. And I want you guys to look at that disciplined thinking section in your assessment. It's on, again, I think, yell out the pages. When you get them, it's 4 and
16.
How many of you have that third bar off to the right? Disciplined thinking. When that goes to the right, that's your brain thinking in black and white. That literally is the source of most of your stress. All or nothing, win, lose, black, white, right, wrong. If you've ever gone into any kind of defensive or offensive posture, it's because this thought process made an idea more important than a person. It made a concept. It got attached to an idea. It overthought. How many of you overthink? It's this bar, and it causes more stress than anything else. In fact, it causes cortisol and adrenaline to be released in your brain, and you go into fight, flight, or freeze. It views threats everywhere in life. And we're the safest we've ever been in the history of the world. How many of you believe that? First time I heard that, I'm like, you're crazy, no way. We are the safest as we've ever been in the history of the world. But we have information at our fingertips, So every single catastrophe we hear about. So we're the safest we've ever been, but we're the most fearful we've ever been. And that third bar thinks very black and white and causes more stress in your life than anything else.
Brandon, is that the disciplined or the analytical? Which?
It's the creating new ideas. Third bar.
Okay, so analytical. Okay.
The analytical is if you're balanced. So you need a really good analytical brain if you're balanced, but when it goes off to the right, it's obsessive.
Okay.
So it overthinks and overthinks and thinks very black and white. Like some of you that have this bar off to the right, here's how you can test it out. You can say, go to somebody who's been the most affected by this and say, what's it like being in a relationship with me when I need to be right? And then notice when they start to tell you, because that even creates a physiological feeling for some of you to even think about doing that, right? Because what are they going to tell you? Well, it's difficult. It's hard. I'm not heard. It feels like I'm fighting against battling against somebody. And you're going to hear that. And then immediately you might get what? This part of your brain will tell you to get what? Offended or go on the defense. But do you really need to do that? Or could you just say, tell me more about that. Help me understand. What's that like? So the part of your brain that goes into defense or offense is the part that creates massive stress. And the truth is, we really don't have very many threats in our life. 5,000 years ago, maybe. 10,000 years ago, yes, every single day. Today, do you really have that big of a threat? But if your brain goes off if your bar goes off to the right here, your brain views waking up in the morning as a threat. The people that are saying, I'm not interested in your product, as a threat. Your mother-in-law as a threat. Maybe not yours, but somebody else's. You might love your mother-in-law. I don't know. So listen, guys, we just broke down a few components. We're going to make much more sense of this when you come to the Infinite Potential event. And piece by piece, break it down and turn those red bars into green bars. And I know that's a heavy-duty task, but I promise you. In fact, I guarantee it. If this isn't one of the best events, if not the best event you've ever been to, because how many of you have been to a lot of programs, events, you've read shelf-help books, right? You see my shelf-help library back here? You've read it all, you've done it all, and it's like, oh my gosh, like one more thing I'm going to do? How many of you, because I know your time is precious, and you're like, I'm going to invest my time in one more thing? I promise you this is very different, dramatically different than anything you've done. Will literally help your subconscious to shift the way it thinks. So when you leave, you have the tools to do it differently and to find more joy in what you're doing every day. And then we're going to do it in 2 days. 2 days. And I guarantee it. In fact, here's what I'll guarantee. If you come to this event and it's not everything I say it is, it's not the best thing you've ever been to, come up to me and tell me after the second day, at the end of the day. In fact, I'll even give you the first day. At the end of the first day, if you come up to me at the end of the day and say, this is not very good, I've been to things like this before, then I'll give you your money back. In fact, I'll give you whatever you've paid us, and I'll double it, and I'll pay you twice the amount of money you paid for the event. Now, if this is a $1,000 event, that's a pretty good residual income to pick up on that day. Uh-oh, did I freeze out? Sorry, guys. It's that Fortnite, right? I gotta be Fortnite. I know it's Fortnite. Fortnite's taken over our house. My wife's probably even playing Fortnite now. I feel like it's in our entire world. Oh, sorry. Hang on, I'm gonna switch my. All right. I switched over to the non-Fortnite Wi-Fi, guys. Sorry about that. So our 2-day Infinite Potential event, we're doing it in January, right, guys?
Right, January 18th and 19th. That's a Friday and Saturday.
And it's not $1,000, although in the self-development world, I promise you, it is literally a $1,000 event. It's like we're charging next to nothing. It might as well be free. So
it's an awesome deal. Yeah. Awesome deal. We appreciate it so much, what you're going to do for us.
I don't even remember what that was, but I know it's pretty low.
Yeah, we're going to share the prices with them tomorrow, their opportunities.
There you go.
Yes. I do want to say, while you are on here, so I can say it to your face, you are super generous, and we are so grateful. You all will be a little shocked tomorrow when you see the sticker price on this thing. I know for me, I'm like, are you joking? So it's a 2-day event. You've got plenty of time if you work a job to take off. If you absolutely cannot take off work, it's worth financially and the benefit that you'll get just to come for one day. I mean, just join us no matter what. This is amazing. I am excited.
We did the event in Arizona. This is the power of this event, guys. We did a 1-day event in Arizona, and at that 1-day event we had 350, 400 people, and then they said you got to come back and do this 2-day thing. So we came back and did a 2-day event, and same area, Arizona, for all Young Living people, although they brought their friends and their significant others and everybody else to this event. And then they said, this is so good that we need you to come back again. And we literally scheduled another day to come back and do the event again. And at that event, we sold 200 tickets. So that gives you an example of the power of this event that people are actually seeing there. I put my heart and soul into it, the 20 years of experience helping people get to that next level. And so you guys are gonna feel it. It's really cool. I get excited because I know not only how much fun you're gonna have, but how it's gonna get you out of your comfort zone, and you're literally gonna have breakthroughs there.
Awesome. So it is going to be a part of the Live Your Passion rally in January. It's going to all be incorporated, but I want to just give you a little bit of scoop. I know you guys are like, come on, are you not going to tell us the price? No, we're not. However, he gave a price, he gave an early bird price, and then he gave an extra special. Okay? So you guys are going to learn about all 3 of those tomorrow. We will let you know and let you know what the dates are on all of those, okay? You'll want to be keeping track tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow, get on Facebook after probably 4 o'clock. You'll be able to find that information out, okay?
I'm anxious to see it too. I want to see it.
Yay.
So, well, Brandon, we appreciate all that you've done for us tonight, and we're super, super excited about you coming to Oklahoma City. Like I said, we do have quite a few people on here that are not in the Oklahoma City area, that are in other states, but we will see what we can do. I do know that on your site you have some other locations in 2019 that you're going to be at, so we'll see what there's any in those states for those people, or if they're going to want to check on flights to come to Oklahoma City. But definitely want to work with everybody the best we can to help you guys. But considering Sunshine and I are here in Oklahoma, and that's where he's coming.
We're so grateful. So excited.
Brandon, Sue was asking if there are things we need to do in the meantime before January. So is there anything they can do with this assessment between now and then?
I would say just I would bring a printed copy. Make sure you have a colored copy of this. It helps to have the colors. Get the summary and the long version and bring both of them with you to the event. That's all you need to do. You can go through the assessment on your own if you'd like. Obviously, when we get to the event, we're going to go into much more detail and give you real life stuff. So it'll make a lot more sense once you bring it there. But I would just tell you to bring the happy you and the unhappy you and all of who you are to this event, and be willing to learn. Be willing to learn and grow, and you will tremendously.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Any
thank
other
you,
questions
everybody.
I can answer for anybody, and anything at all?
This is y'all's chance.
That's what I was about to say. You got the floor, guys. Who learned a little bit about how they can improve their situation.
Guys,
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Hopefully did this help you guys in any way, shape, or form tonight?
It did me.
Okay.
Yep.
Some of you I still need to wow, so you got to get to the event for that. So if this was like too simplistic, then get to the event and we'll really create some breakthroughs.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, guys, one last thing. If you remember the Oklahoma City event that are open, they sell out like hotcakes. So just keep that in mind for your teams. Be prepared to share with them whenever things go live on our groups, on our actual product page groups. Be letting them know that they need to get to this event. And if you have people that are not oilers, this is still an event for them. Okay, bring them.
Brandon, I have one question.
Yeah.
It says that neutral strengths, it said no risk. That was kind of like the top. What does that mean?
Which one are you looking at?
Oh, you can't see it, but it's the summary. Sorry, just the short version.
Which section are you looking at?
It was just the very first page where it just kind of gives you, I mean, I don't know if that was related to my exam. It just said neutral strengths, no risks, and then it said risk levels, and then it had the 3. But that doesn't have anything to do with my personal score.
Well, yeah, because when it's green, so if you print this and look at this a color, when it's green, that's your brain giving you good advice. Or there's no potential risks in it.
Okay.
Good
I
advice.
didn't know if everyone had a different one.
No, everybody's is the same. Everybody's assessment is very different, but yellow is not good, orange is a little bit more of a risk, and red is a massive risk. That's true for everybody's, but different people have different red bars in different places. 6.4 quadrillion ways to take it.
Brenda, are you asking, is it show? I think it's just showing you the scale so you'll understand the other pages.
Oh, okay. I think that's probably what I just kind of figured that out. I didn't know if that was like telling me, oh, you're no risk, you know.
Right. Only that's just telling you when you turn the page and you see the green that you're where you're at and what the orange means and what red means.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the key. That's good.
You
got that faster than me, Shauna. Thank you.
Okay. I know Brenda well. We think alike.
That was Shauna using her empathy in connection. That top bar is probably really balanced, and Shauna's for empathy. So yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Am I over focused? I was really focusing in, so that's not necessarily a good thing, but it worked in this case.
So Shauna and Sunshine, thank you for trusting me with your team and letting me share this information. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to bring this to you guys and really create some major breakthroughs for you guys. So you can find more joy in your journey. You can find more passion. You can create more success, but do it peacefully. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, we will be posting in our Claiming Your Harvest groups in the morning. Sunshine said 4 a.m. I
didn't mean a.m.
Oh, I thought she was like, I sleep at that time, but she will be at that time. I will be putting that on my Cinch share to make that happen, but we will have a special pricing for you guys to get started tomorrow to be able to order tickets if you're interested in going. I really do not see why anybody would not do anything and everything they can to get to this event. As Sunshine was saying, our last 2 Live Your Passion rallies has sold out at 150. Guys, we are inviting more people than just our teams. They will be able to start inviting on Friday, so we're giving you guys a couple of days of heads up. At this point, I'm going to be talking to Brandon's assistant tomorrow more about a location. But as they know more about how many people are coming, they're going to get the location, and then we'll be able to share that information with you too. But no, it'll be the Oklahoma City metro area. So for those that live in this area, somewhere between Edmond and Norman off the I-35 area, you'll be able to get it that way. So those of you guys in Texas coming up I-35, that might be something you're interested in doing. And those of you up north may want to be coming down south. So, and those west from California can go I-40 and get here too, okay? So definitely we'll look at ways to help you guys get this information, okay? And when will tickets go on sale? Tomorrow. We will have these available for you guys in our Claiming Your Harvest groups for tomorrow. Y'all are the first dibs because you guys are our elite group. You're the ones that said at the beginning of August, hey, I want to do this business. I want to change my mindset. I'm ready to move forward, get rid of all that garbage. And so we are definitely giving you guys the first dibs. And then starting on Friday, we will be placing it in our other groups. And then Crossline will be doing the same. All right. Exciting. Okay, Sunshine, what do you have to say?
Just thank you all for joining us, and put that on your calendar. It's already on mine. Let's fill that place up.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Make every day count, y'all. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.